Welcome. We are so excited to have you back for the 6th episode of the Off Meta podcast. I'm Ganesh from Deck Check.
And I'm Samurai Dancer. Today we are heading to the sky for the fun life with Zurgo and Ojutai. Welcome to Off Meta, where the brews that are hot shoot their shot.
In this show, we focus on the fascinating off-meta cEDH decks that people have not seen yet, like the absolutely amazing Zurgo and Ojutai. We'll have a fresh new episode every Friday by 6 p.m. Central Time.
Off Meta is not responsible for the tournament results of cards and decks mentioned on Off Meta. If there's a brew you'd like to take a look at, or if you'd like to appear on the show itself, just let us know in the Discord.
Coming up on the Off Meta podcast.
Besides the fact that you get dragons, you actually just have a really value-heavy game plan here. Everything in Jeskai that Jeskai has to offer, like between all the value engines, all the mana acceleration, and the win cons, like the combos, I think you just have a really robust strategy here. You get to attack from different angles. You get to pressure life totals. You get to pressure people on a resource axis, and you get to just present multiple win cons.
Yes. But first up, we have a very quick section for off-meta news, where we share with you off-meta decks that have performed well in the past few weeks. So a lot of these were from SCGCon. So first up, we have Dihada, Binder of Wills. So this is a Mardu deck, very turbo-focused. It's very wanting to get out Breach like as soon as possible. Just because Dihada works so well with Breach, she mills you, she creates treasures, she fuels your Breach lines. In addition to that, the deck runs a plethora of weird graveyard strategies, at least this one does. We've got the Goblin Welder, we've got the Goblin Engineer, we've got Lurrus, we've even got Braids, and this is an interesting one. We've got the Abdel Adrian. For those that don't know, this is like World Gorger, but less risky. Let's just scroll down and see if we can find, and there's the Necromancy and the Animate Dead. That's an infinite with Abdel. If you're curious, I'd say just go ahead and check out this deck list. We'll have it linked below. But what this will do is flicker your stuff infinitely, give you infinite mana and 1/1 soldiers. Anyway, why don't you tell us a bit about this? This next one's really cool. Samurai, you want to take this one?
Going in at 16th in the SCGCon, we have Wilhelt the Rotcleaver. A pre-con commander, Wilhelt is a legendary creature zombie warrior. For 2 and a Demir, you get a 3/3 that when another zombie you control dies, if it didn't have Decayed, create a 2/2 black zombie creature with Decayed. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice a zombie. If you do, draw a card. Synergies of this deck: zombies. A lot of them. This deck is not on Thassa's Oracle. It's not on the mill out plan. Well, at least not milling themselves on. It will mill you out through Gravecrawler shenanigans, Macias the Unhallowed shenanigans, Rotcleaver Hulk shenanigans, Razaketh shenanigans. This deck looks to sack zombies and drain or mill. It doesn't matter. They just want you dead. They want you among the zombies, and eventually the undead horde will claim your life.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of cool cards in this deck you don't really normally see in cEDH, like Tomebound Lich. There's
like 90% of this deck you will never see in cEDH.
Yeah, like this is so whack. But in a good way. Good whack.
It's a good whack.
Yeah. Yeah, I really recommend just taking a look at this list. We might try to get this person on the show as well at some point. But anyway, moving on. Next up, we have Evelyn the Covetous. So this is a 5-mana Grixis 2/5 vampire rogue. She's got flash, and whenever she or another vampire enters the battlefield, you exile the top card of each player's library with a collection counter on it. And once each turn, you can play a card from exile with a collection counter on it. So this card actually really pairs well with the actual World Gorger Dragon, as basically what Animate Dead plus World Gorger Dragon or any Dance of the Dead, Animate Dead, Necromancy, they all kind of do the same job of sticking on a World Gorger, getting removed when it leaves and then coming back in and looping infinitely. What this will do is infinitely flicker all your permanents. And since you're playing Evelyn and she comes in at flash speed, you can cast her in while this loop is going on. And the great thing about this is every time Evelyn flickers, she will exile the top card of each player's library. And on top of that, you can play a card from exile for each Evelyn. So when she leaves and comes back, she's technically considered a new Evelyn, and you can play a different card from exile. You're not really limited to one per turn when you are comboing off. Aside from that, very standard Grixis shell. It looks to be very quick. We're running like the Unmarked Grave. We're basically trying to get World Gorger in the grave as fast as possible, and then just win the game by reanimating it. And next up, in the complete opposite to this style of deck, we have AO the Dawn Sky.
Hello, the Dawn Sky. For 2 white mana and 3 colorless, you get a legendary creature, Dragon Spirit. 5/4 with flying vigilance. When the Dawn Sky dies, choose one. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put any number of non-land permanent cards with total manual value 4 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in the red order, or you can put 2/1 counters on each permanent you control that's a creature or a vehicle. Now, what this card does is this whole deck synergy is the fact that it is a stacks combo deck that can win at instant speed over the top of your opponent. It utilizes Ashnod's Altar and Nim Death Mantle to create an infinite loop of sacrificing, getting more sacrifices, and paying for the sacrifices. Oketra's Monument and other synergies like Phyrexian Altar come into play and allow it to keep sacking and bringing out value. Eventually, it'll win, whether it be with a Walking Ballista, just natural killing you by milling you out with an Altar of Dementia or any other numerous synergies. This deck is known as the White Weenie Dragon because, let's be honest, most of the creatures in it cost less than 3. Most of the creatures in it are 1/1s and 2/2s. These are not big things, but you know what they do? They slow down the board and gum up the situation. Look to the skies and be surprised.
Yeah, usually we're not trying to get this second ability off, right? Like most of the time we're just trying to cheat something in.
That's where you're incorrect. We do like this second ability.
Oh, really?
Because it puts it on each creature.
Right.
So once you start going, you can just put it on all your creatures. You can make numerous tokens and keep going. So what makes this deck pretty cool is the fact that it's able to pivot, but it is super toxic. It is a super leech in the, what is it? What do we call it? A parasitic deck?
It is a parasitic deck. Yeah.
It's looking to just throw stacks pieces down that don't bother it and just wait for its moment. It's not going to interact. So I'll tell you right now, the reason why AO normally doesn't show up is because it just gets outbeat. Doesn't interact, doesn't counter, doesn't have much to do. So what happens? People ignore it. Well, guess what? They ignored it too long and it made 28th place in SCG Con. Now, Ganesh, I want to talk about something that we covered last week. Wizards of the Coast taking a little foray into MTGO cEDH content, maybe creating some leagues.
Yes.
Well, we're in our first week of it.
It's gone pretty rough on MTGO. I personally have not jumped in. It's a bit expensive just to start up, and on top of that, it has been plagued with bugs and like really, really bad exploitable bugs that we're not going to go into what the bugs exactly are or how you can do them.
We're not here to teach you how to exploit the bugs.
Yeah, just know that it's not a great place for cEDH at the moment. They might get fixed. But for now, I would save your. For now, just save your tickets. Save those things for now.
If I had to sum it up, it's broken bugs and bad beats. Not only are there many exploitable bugs on MTGO that have led to terrible cEDH experience, so there's several missing cards from the collection of MTGO, including basic cards like Sacrifice and Lich. I mean, maybe one of those is basic and the other is not, but also, not only that, there was a lot of bad sportsmanship because guess what? You're playing for money anonymously against people you will not meet or talk to probably ever. And that's going to lead to collusion, delusion, and aspersion as people scoop as the saltiest of players take to the online skies, my friend.
Yeah. God, yeah. So you can, for those that don't know, you can scoop at instant speed, right? In MTGO with CDH. So if someone's resolving like a Mnemonic Trail or like a Tivit's trying to win or something,
Or Glinthorn.
or Glinthorn, like people can just concede like and leave the game, and then you
Even worse, because the
Yeah.
way the leagues are set up, you can have 3 people that know each other play in these leagues
Oh,
against one new person, and they can collude and obliterate that person. And then they can
Yeah.
just keep doing that over and over again and accrue points and values. It's not good. I'll be honest, this is not where we're at. But here's some fun information. You will probably find me on it because I'm a toxic individual who loves bad strategies.
well, if you
So
are
if you
looking
look forward to
for
me,
if you're looking for a good online experience, there's no better place than Chaos Tournaments. We're not being sponsored to say that, although I wish we were. But no, genuinely, it's a fun place to play. They have their league, they have their tournaments. Yeah, I've had a good time with it.
in all honesty, there's a plethora of good online tournament options.
Yes.
Whether it be Path to the Peak, Arcane,
Chaos, yeah.
like these are all great places. Maybe you don't want to play at Chaos. I can not understand it because they're awesome and it's a great place and I love it and I'm there all the time. Well, guess what? There's also Cockatrice, which is also free. Like, don't play on cEDH. That is not free. That is money. Like, why aren't you playing on MTGO if you want to spend money and deal with toxic cheating individuals? Like,
oh shoot, I didn't even think about that. The cheaters, well, not that you can cheat on, actually, you know what? I have to go back several steps on this one. You can cheat on MTGO, and there are players that were banned for cheating that are not banned on MTGO, I'm sure. I'm not going to name any names, but
we know you.
Huh?
We know who they are. We know what they did.
Yeah. I haven't seen it firsthand, so I'm not going to say that 100% I can say that I've seen it going on, but I've heard from other players that it is going on. So honestly, my advice to all the players out there that are thinking about hopping in these online leagues, yes, it's great. Yes, we do want to show Wizards that cEDH is serious and we're interested, but wait. Now is not the time.
If you don't want to wait, I recommend going to Card Hoarder and subscribing. Traders Card Hoarder, they have subscriptions that can let you rent cards, so that way you don't have a high initial investment. $35 a month can get you a ton, basically the whole cEDH deck. Yeah. And you can swap it out as many times as you want that month. It's great. Yeah, I love that service. I used to use that service all the time.
Yeah.
Please sponsor us.
All right, y'all. So that'll do it for our little intro here. We will see you with Zurgo and Ojutai. All right, so we're here with Dracomancer, who was piloting Zurgo and Ojutai. So Draco, would you mind telling us a bit about yourself? How long you've been playing, what's your general location, and just a few other fun tidbits.
Yeah, my name is Dracomancer. Well, my real name is David Walker. I'm from New Jersey, and I started playing around the Kaladesh area. Mm-hmm. I played that when I was in Standard, and then eventually moved on to Modern, and then I don't remember exactly when I got into EDH, but I got into cEDH like 2 years ago. And my first cEDH commander was actually Yuriko, funny enough. Eventually, when this card got spoiled, I was like, oh, that's just sick. I love dragons. So I built this, and yeah, I've just been playing it. It's been performing pretty well.
Okay, nice, cool. Yeah.
So you went from ninjas to dragons.
Yeah, the whole weave route.
I'm an anime fan.
I dabble in a little anime.
Dabble.
Tribal
What's your
fan.
favorite?
Favorite anime?
Yeah, in the last 10 years.
Classic. Oh, 10 years? My favorite all time is Yu Yu Hakusho. That's way
Nice.
back though.
Classic.
Last 10 years. I mean, I do like Naruto. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. Naruto is a good show.
Dragons, I get you.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty awesome, man. Got another question. Like you said, you kind of like got into cEDH. What's been like your tournament experience so far?
Okay, so I just started competing towards the end of last year, and my first tournament was it took a lot of like being used to like I was used to modern tournaments and like 60 card 1v1, and it took a lot of getting used to the fact that there was this two extra players at each competitive table, and the whole, I had to learn about politicking, I had to learn about priority order and stuff like that, and just learning the meta and how everything functions differently from 1v1. But overall, it's been really enjoyable. I love, the format. I love playing against all these powerful strategies and with all these powerful cards. It's really great time.
Cool. Yeah, before we get too far into it, we should probably, for those listening on Spotify, explain what this commander actually does. So Zurgo Ojutai is a 5 mana, so that's 2 generic, and then blue, red, white, Jeskai. It's a legendary orc dragon 4/4. It's got flying and haste, and it has hexproof as long as it entered the battlefield this turn. And then it also has whenever one or more dragons you control deal combat damage to a player or battle, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. You may return one of those dragons to its owner's hand. All right, so let's go ahead and hop in and just get into why play this deck. There's a plethora, so many cEDH commanders, so many off-meta cEDH commanders as well. Why Zurgo and Ojutai?
Okay, first and foremost, you get to play dragons. Who doesn't love swinging with a 5 mana 4/4? Let's be real. That's the best part of Magic.
I don't know, a little bit stronger argument.
Secondly, I actually think the Jeskai colors is lacking a bit in options. We have Narset. We have 2 Narsets technically. They both do very niche things, which, I mean, they're powerful in their own right, but they're niche. And then we have partner pairings, but I've heard a lot of people say they don't like partners, so I don't know. To each their own. And what else? What other Jeskai stuff is there?
We've got Elsha rising up the ranks.
Elsha, that was the other one. Yes.
But I think that's more because there's not good options.
Yeah. No, seriously. I think besides the fact that you get dragons, you actually just have a really value heavy game plan here. Everything in Jeskai that Jeskai has to offer, like between all the value engines, all the mana acceleration, and the win cons, like the combos. I think you just have a really robust strategy here. You get to attack from different angles. You get to pressure life totals. You get to pressure people on a resource axis, and you get to just present multiple win cons. I think anybody that wants like a fairly simple but still complex, once you grind it a bit and get down into the details, type of strategy, this is the deck for you.
Well, now you talk about the deck strategy. What is your game plan?
Good question. So first and foremost, we want to try to, if we can't get a value engine down early, we want to try to get dragons down early. We very much want to just go to combat, get our value, and then a lot of times we're either holding up interaction or we're setting up for the next turn. Like we can set up with the recruiters if we're going to try to present a win con soon. We present or we'll deploy value engines that we find off of the commander's triggers, like Rhystic, Mystic, Esper, all of that. And then, yeah, a lot of times my early progressions have been just attack, hit the triggers, and then just hold up interaction, or play a value engine and then hold up interaction, and then just try to grind into the mid and late game.
Okay. So how does this deck actually win? Like, you're in Jeskai, so I'm assuming Underworld Breach is a thing, but yeah, what else? What else are we seeing here?
I added well, we have, like you said, Breach. We have the Intuition pile, and I also added the Spellseeker 1-card combo with Ephemerate and Final Fortune. For those who don't know, you play Spellseeker, you tutor out the Ephemerate, play Ephemerate, targeting Spellseeker. You're going to get an additional Spellseeker trigger, which allows you to get Final Fortune. And then you play the Final Fortune to take the extra turn. Then on your second turn, Ephemerate comes off a rebound and will target Spellseeker again. Allows you to get Enlightened Tutor. And it's still in your upkeep, cast Enlightened Tutor, fetching for Underworld Breach, and then you draw that for turn, and then you play it, and then you escape. Was it the Ephemerate again? Targeting Spellseeker. This time you'll get Brain Freeze, and then you Brain Freeze and you start the combo.
Right.
Interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, like, cool thing is you can even like put an LED on top in response to the Brain Freeze.
Yes, it's
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
We say 1 card, but it's Spellseeker getting many cards.
Yeah, Spellseeker pulls a lot of work in this deck. We also have access to Displacer Kitten and Teferi as a 2-card combo. Well, 2 cards plus either a mana positive rock or a 0 costing artifact. And we can draw our deck through that loop. And then sometimes you got to get it done the old-fashioned way with Dragon Beats. Combat damage.
Right.
Dragon Beats by Dre.
Not sponsored, but please sponsor.
Not sponsored, but please sponsor. You got to pick your spots, my friend.
What I was actually looking into, somebody else brought this to my attention, is I really should focus a little more on combat damage, and there is a card by the name of Sylvia Brightspear that basically gives all your dragons double strike.
So I know that card.
Yeah. Yes. So not only does that increase damage. I'm sorry?
It's Brightspear she's a partner with, right?
Yeah, she partners with a specific dragon.
Yeah, but he just does things for knights. We don't care about it.
Yeah, he's not relevant. But yeah, it increases damage, but also it doubles the commander's triggers. Yeah. So it's pulling double weight there, which is pretty nice.
Not just your commander's triggers, doubles your dragons on hit effects, which I noticed you run quite a bit of those. Yeah, she'd be okay. I mean, basically, she's like a Delaney, except, let's be honest, you don't meet that 2 and under requirement, so...
Yeah, not really.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
It's kind of the opposite. She says, you got to be this tall to ride the ride, and by this tall, I mean, like, meters up.
You got to be this short to ride the ride.
He's a little more comparable to Roaming Throne, I think, which is a really strong card in this deck. Like, phenomenal card in this deck, actually.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can definitely see that. I'm also noticing you're running the 6-drop clone.
Yeah. Let's talk about clones real quick. So, when I originally built this deck, I was running not just Sakashima the Imposter, but the other Sakashima plus Spark Double. And an issue I was running into there was, by the way, for those listening, whenever you clone Zurgo Ojutai and you attack 2 different players, you don't just add the triggers, you multiply them, because each copy sees themselves doing damage and they see each other doing damage. So it's 2 times 2 is 4. So whenever I would clone my commander, I would get just a lot of triggers and a lot of value that way. So that being said, when I was running the other 2 clones, an issue I was running into was that sometimes people would know what's up and be like, oh, he's probably going to try to clone his commander. Here's a Swords to Plowshares. And then it would come down. Yeah, it comes down and it's just, if it's Spark Double, it just dies. If it's Sakashima, it's just a 4-mana 3/1 with no text. Yeah, that's not good. So I cut those. Yeah, I cut those in favor of Sakashima and Roaming Throne. Roaming Throne being not a clone, but close enough where he doubles the triggers the first time he comes down. And when he attacks, he's also a dragon if you're naming dragon, which you should be. And you're going to get 4 triggers that way too.
There is one time where you're not going to name a dragon, isn't there? When you've got Baron and Dockside.
Yeah. So yeah,
like,
there's
they're a goblin. They're responsible. They kept the artifact, the Dockside count low. Well, too bad. We're going to double up.
So the secret text of this commander is that you can bounce your dragons after they do damage. A lot of times I will be bouncing, if I'm ready to win, I will bounce a Sakashima, a Roaming Throne, back to my hand, replay it in the looking to double Dockside triggers. Yeah.
I see. That's smart. I like that.
With Auton Soldier, this card, I've only gotten to cast it once, and it won the game on the spot. It's so I copy my commander. It says Myriad, by the way. You get to, on attacks, copy this for each opponent.
Yeah.
So I played this copying my commander. I went to combat. I got the damage triggers. I'll shortcut the math here. It was 12 triggers. So 12 times 3, looking at the top 3, 36. You're looking at the top 36 cards of your library. I shouldn't have to tell you how good that is. That's an ad nause in this deck. Yeah, I won on the spot. I had a billion protection and like 3 different layered win con attempts.
Might we say that's a Dragonause?
That's a Dragnaut. I like that. I'm gonna write that down.
Okay, that's a good one. 6 cards in a Jeskai deck. I think you might have found okay cards in that pile. Maybe some good. Stuff that good. Some other stuff. Maybe you hit all your lands and all your rocks.
Kind of decent. I don't know. But yeah. So I'm very much sold on this card. I look forward to more times where I get to play this and just do that again. I think it's a very powerful card in this strategy.
So strong.
Yeah, because your commander just has haste, so you're immediately getting value off of this Auton
and
Soldier.
hexproof.
Yeah.
So when you clone this, if they are like, oh wait, I probably should have removed the commander. Let me do that now. Oh, wait, I can't remove Auton Soldier because it has hexproof now. Darn. I guess we got to take this damage.
Yeah.
So we talked about like how in the early game you're kind of like looking for advantages. Mid game you're kind of like looking to turn those advantages into like protection basically. And then late game you're basically saying let's go. But my question is, so like I'm like looking at your deck. When I think of a late game field, I think there's a Rhystic Study, there's another Rhystic Study, there's a Bowmaster, someone got like 12 cards in the grip. Now, I see that you're running Teferi. I see that you're running Uvors. All right. But my question is, what is the part that makes you go, no, we're clear, let's go? Like, what makes you push it into overdrive? What makes you think there's not going to be a turn after this one?
That is a good question. I actually had a game like that in Punt City, my round 6, which is where I actually cast the Auton Soldier, funny enough. But we had two players looking pretty scary. They both had a lot going on their sides of the boards respectively. And sometimes like if you do enough yapping, you can get a feel for the table, like who has what kind of interaction and stuff. And at that point, before I did anything, I was kind of just looking at hand sizes, and everybody was kind of like tapped out except for one player. And I was like, okay. It was a Kinnan too. So I was like, okay, what are the chances he can interact here with Auton Soldier? And what are the chances that he has enough to fight over what comes after? And so I went to cast Auton Soldier, and they did a lot of talking over it. Turns out that Kinnan had a Mindbreak trap in hand that he could have hardcast, but he wasn't really sure that he was supposed to. Which another part of this deck is like Brewer's Advantage is pretty cool. People don't know what you're doing, so you get to kind of get away with a little more, but that'll probably go away after today.
Is this the gun, or is the gun later? Is this where we get shot in the face, or like, is this just where like he's loading the bullet? And like, do we need to care about the bullet once it's fired? And it's like, no. You guys got clapped the minute you didn't auto counter it.
So they were talking a lot, and a lot of them, not a lot. Well, it was a lot of miscalculation of how many triggers I would get if it copied my commander. I just kept my mouth shut. They were like, "Oh yeah, he'll get like 4 triggers here." I was just like,
Brewers, the strongest thing you can do is just not politic. You're already scary because they don't know what your deck does, so just shut up and let them make the misplay.
They collectively decided that I wouldn't get enough triggers to present a win con. I also didn't have like too much mana up at that point too. I had like 1 or 2 extra mana, so it's like, yeah, you know what? If he gets triggers, it's fine because he's not going to be able to win this turn. He doesn't have enough mana.
He can draw his own cards.
I drew enough mana. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I found everything I needed. But
Nice.
yeah, the ability to, after you read the table, and then you get to just, go to combat, do the combat thing, and you're just digging so far into your deck over the course of 2, 3, 4 turns that you're just going to have everything you need. If you're not fighting against the table because everybody's, playing responsibly, you're just sitting on interaction. And that interaction could be used to protect your own win after you, go maxed out on the attack triggers. So there's a lot of value you get just by playing the game.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well-
So what would you say are these decks' strengths overall?
Surprise.
Surprise. Yeah, like I said, Brewer's Advantage is pretty cool. Oh, you don't know what I'm doing? Great, I win. But even outside of that, oh, you know what I'm doing? Okay, cool. I get to play good Jeskai cards now. We get to just have a fair and balanced game of Magic. I'm not doing anything that's like super reliant on any one part of the deck. I just have a fully fleshed out list of high quality cards.
Yeah.
And then again, like we get to just sit back once we're drawing all these cards, and we can just apply pressure through combat damage. We don't even have to commit to anything really.
Yeah.
That seems like to be like the case. It's like when you're brewing, either if you brew your deck to be super reliant on one part of the combo, guess what, folks? Those are the decks that in off meta never top. Or if they do, it's a fluke. What you want is a reliable list of cards that all kind of connect together and have intricate combos within each other.
Yeah.
Like, that's the trick. Like, when you build a commander that is a value engine, you don't have to have bad cards in the deck to keep that going. Because guess what? It's what the commander does. He's gonna draw you good cards. Like, run good cards. The commander draws you cards, you should make those cards good. If your commander doesn't draw you cards, you should run cards that draw you cards.
Exactly.
Now, if we were to like look at this deck, if you were to say its strength, like what's the turn basis on this? Like, what's your average turn win?
Average turn win. I've won as early as turn 2 before.
Wow.
Sometimes your hand just lines up where you can just jam. Like, we have these 2 1-card combos. If you just have a hand that's just like land, mana crypt, intuition, and you're in, let's say you're in a turbo pod, you don't want to, play table police. So you're just like, okay, I have mana, I have my 1-card combo, I can just jam here because, again, we're Jeskai, good cards, and we can just do that. But that's not what I aim for, but it's a possibility. So I like having that option in my back pocket. But a lot of times, I think with this deck, you're not afraid to just, chill. You can just go as late as you need to. And I'm a firm believer in like the philosophy of top end. This was more applicable in like 1v1 formats, but ability to just interact with the table, keep the board clear, just get your X for ones out, and then just go over the top with whatever your finisher is. You can go any amount of turns, and like the later the game goes, the more favored we are, I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, if you would like to break it down, like, you're more of a 7, 8, 9, 7+ turn guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
like, this is cEDH. Any deck that's meant for this format can win on turn 2, turn 3. Obviously, it's how the format is set up. If you're playing Tyam, you're wrong. But that makes sense. But if you were to like define like what are some like weaknesses, like what is like some things that if you were like playing, you're like this is where things are gonna go wrong.
Not the biggest fan of going up against Tivit. I've had some lackluster experiences against Tivits, mainly because having a 6/6 flyer is better than having a 4/4 flyer. It's anytime somebody's able to block, either chump block or just like outright stonewall my attacks, it's a bit annoying. Again, we get to pivot into other value engines, but cutting off that access is a little hurts a little.
Chunky flyer in a better color setup.
Yeah. Outside of that, I guess you don't want to really be matched up with like 3 turbo players because
Right.
I don't think
You're
anybody wants that really.
Yeah.
So essentially, you kind of want the pod to be sort of balanced in your speed. When you see it's like 3 speedy decks, you're like, I have to be table police, but that's not what this deck's designed to do. Especially in the first couple of turns, it has value engines, but they're a little bit on the heavier side. So it's like, if you were like in turn 1, 2, you're probably not having your value engine out, and your opponents have probably put a win attempt out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you had like a balanced pod, like a mid-range deck, a turbo deck, and then like I don't know, a stacks deck or something, then that's probably where you're best at. You can play around stacks pretty well. You can use the other mid-range player to be responsible with you, and then the turbo player is probably just getting hated out. So
it's so weird that your whole strategy for your dragon decks is to fly them up and drag them into the mud. Listen, we are not the fleet. We are not the fastest. We will just be here the longest.
Right. We're gonna keep tussling until you guys get tired, and then I'm just gonna beat you down. That's it.
Like at the end of the day, still dragons.
Got dragons.
All right. So, what are tips you'd like to give for players that are new to this commander? And what's something a bit more specific to playing this deck that you might be able to help people out with?
I think this deck is pretty beginner friendly. If I'm honest, I
Hmm.
like the idea of just you get to just play dragons, and you get to just do combat damage, and like as you draw more cards, you'll figure out how you want the game to progress, and it just starts at just playing your dragons, deploy your dragons, attack, and everything else is kind of just going to come to you. The deck is designed to take advantage of just going to combat and getting value, or
Yeah.
just getting value through other means.
So
Right.
your strategy would be if this deck wasn't working for someone, you'd be like, have you tried turning the cards sideways?
It's a bold strategy. Let's see if it plays out. But yeah, no, seriously. All you really have to do is like keep attacking.
What's an
It's
interaction that you've found in this deck that's just it's like you think it works a certain way, it definitely does not.
it's an ooh. There was there was a game where I had a displacer kitten, and I so one cool thing about displacer kitten, right? If you have mana rocks or one of the recruiters out, or like
Hmm.
spellseeker, and you're kind of in that control role, you get to just keep flickering your stuff for more value. I was in a situation where I had to blink Spellseeker X amount of times because there was so much on the board, and I had to just keep looking for stuff because at this point I was trying to end the game at this point because there was just so much going on, and I I did the math wrong, and I just needed like two displacer kittens, so I ended up copying it at some point. And one thing that I missed is that you can't target same thing with two displacer kittens. Because if you blink it once,
Yeah.
the other target goes away.
Yeah.
And I almost put myself in the corner. I was like, oh wait, no, I need to do this twice, but I literally can't.
Right. Yeah,
um
because both triggers go on the stack. If you choose the same thing twice, the first one will get flickered, and whatever you're flickering comes in as a new object, and then the second trigger will
right.
just fizzle.
It was a niche scenario, but it was kind of relevant. If you ever have two displacer kittens at some point, target two different things, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
May I suggest a mana lock and something that tutors?
Yes, absolutely, I agree.
um, oh man. Like if you're like looking at this list, what's like an underrated card? Well, obviously your automaton. We've talked about that, boy.
Mm.
That's a game ender. But like, what's something that like people like constantly don't realize? They're like, oh, that probably shouldn't have touched down. Or if someone new was playing this deck, they'd be like, well, I probably should have gotten that sooner. I didn't think about it. Like, what's something in that category? Like, what's a hidden underrated card?
An underrated card. I would say Baron, honestly.
Hmm.
So somebody else asked me this, or I saw this question come up when referring to my deck. Is that we have the Baron Dockside combo, which I forgot to mention earlier, right?
Yeah.
So we can make infinite mana, but
Hmm.
but what's different about this deck is that we are actually comboing one of those with a recruiter. Because what happens is recruiter can get either part of the combo,
Right.
and usually if you let's say you have Baron in hand and recruiter in hand, you're gonna play recruiter to fetch out Dockside,
Hmm.
all the treasure with Dockside, and then play your Baron and then do the combo, which allows you to bounce the recruiter it again, and this time you can get Spellseeker, and
Right.
Spellseeker can get everything else in your deck, and Recruiter can get all the other creatures, including like a Grand Abolisher.
Right.
And I think Baron is pretty underrated in this deck. I think ability to just you have this two card combo, and it's completely creature based for the most part, up until you get Grand Abolisher, and then you probably can just do whatever you want at that point because your opponents are silenced. But you can play around like Mystic, the fish. You play around stuff like Force and Negation that way, Flusterstorm,
right?
And the ability to just be a completely creature-based combo is pretty unique and strong in its own right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right. So now let's kind of go through your deck list in a bit more detail. We'll go card by card. Maybe not every single card, but the ones that matter. So Esper, Sentinel needs no introduction. Ragavans also very generically good. Same with Archivist. We talked about Dockside. Grand Abolisher is just a good silence effect. Talk to us about Thassa's Oracle. This deck is not in black, so yeah. What's this doing here?
It's I actually thought about cutting it. It's not amazing, but it was a way for me to just end the game very quickly and simply without, jumping through too many hoops because I actually had somebody ask, do you have a way to end the game this turn when I was doing like a breach line? And I was like, yeah, I have Thassa's Oracle. And they're like, okay, cool, we'll pack it up here. And that was that. I didn't have to do any extra steps. I just showed them that I had it and the game was over. But I could see where that's not only lazy, but like it's a waste of a card slot because by itself it doesn't do anything.
Exactly. Yeah, that's usually what we hear when we ask like non-blue decks, like why the heck they're on Thassa's Oracle. It's kind of like a cop-out. There was one exception to that very recently. What was it, Samurai? Like we had someone playing Thoracle and it was actually like good. Was it our last guest? I can't remember.
Is it Borborygos and Thibblethip?
Was it them? I don't think it was Borborygmos. I think it was... I can't remember. But no, there was an off black deck that was running Thoracle, and there was actually like a really good reason for it. Was
it Kai?
Huh? Was it Kai?
I have to look through it.
Yeah,
but
I don't
understand, man. Like, my bud LJ runs it in Adric because he's just like, listen, I need a way to win through the One Ring. Like,
that's a great point, actually.
Yeah.
Because, like, you can't breach through the One Ring, and guess what? Like, people play the One Ring at the most inconvenient of times. As someone who plays Malcolm Karras will tell you, always seems to be right as you're about to win. They're like, it's like they sense it, like the evil of the ring just happens to have it appear right at the time when you're like, oh, come on, dude, come on, I was killing you this turn. But also, it's a very clean way to win. And in all honesty, with your commander, like your damage option is swinging, so you don't need a damage option in like the breach line. You have the mill option always because it's breach. So it's like you need I'm just going to win on your turn. I'm going to win before it gets to your turn. I'm going to win on your turn thing, which is Thassa's.
I honestly would suggest, I don't know if you're open to suggestions, but
yeah, by all means.
I would say cut Thassa's and throw in Born.
Okay.
Born will work because you can, if you get your breach combo off, what you can do is you can Born on your turn, bounce your breach, flash it in your end step so the sacrifice trigger doesn't go off, and then your breach is up for after their One Ring goes away. Now you'll have to go through and like manually start them off again or something, but that card Born to me is like a super stable.
By that point, you probably also have Teferi, so
yeah, like yeah. I mean, that's just a suggestion.
Pretty good.
That's solid. I like that.
That's a great suggestion from our guy Ganesh. At first, I was like, "Hey, Born for Thassa's Ganesh. What are you? Oh, you know what? No, that's a good point. Yeah, breach is a beginning of instep trigger.
Yes.
And once Born's in your grave, it's pretty easy to flash it back with breach.
Correct.
Yeah, that's
the
solid,
only downside with that is your storm count's going to go back to 0. But
if he is doing a dockside loop with Baron,
Ooh, yeah.
No, you're right. Actually, no, yeah, no, you would just win.
Yep. With the dark
Yeah,
side
why
with
you
the
just win.
Baron. Yep.
Just
Yeah.
works, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He just goes, oh, yep, keep Baron loop.
Yeah,
Put
yeah,
the
yeah,
Bay
yeah.
out. What are you going to do? Auto me?
Yeah, I mean, and
Solid.
honestly,
Yeah, I like that.
like even without Baron, if you can do stuff with like Chain of Vapor, that's good enough.
Love that card.
So, yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
so next up we have Baron. We've talked about that as well. He's the 3-mana 1/1 with activated ability. You pay 2 mana, you sacrifice a permanent, and you bounce a creature. Of course,
I'd
this
like
goes.
to clarify, he is not a 3-mana 1/1. He is the 3-mana 1/1.
Yeah, he's really good. Like he goes
The
in for the
premier,
dark side, but like on top of that, he's just
So good at
he's-
removing stack spaces.
he
Oh,
bounces.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, his removal and combo lines both packed into one. So if someone has like a pesky Draenith out or something, you're not happy to sack a mana rock, but you can get rid of something useless you don't really care about, like a tapped mana vault or something like that, right? Yeah. All right.
I had a game where I had to bounce a collector oof and a Archon of Emeria
Yeah.
for trying to present a win attempt.
Oh yeah.
He definitely does work. You least
He
expect
definitely
it.
takes people to school.
He is the master wizard for
Yeah.
he ain't the master wizard for nothing.
It's so odd that he's friends with the Goblin Pirate. But anyway, we talked about Imperial and Recruiter, which in your deck is mostly the same card. I guess the one exception is if you, for some reason, wanted to tutor up Sakashima the Imposter, which is a 3/1.
It comes up. It has come up.
Yeah, that does that. Yeah, I can see that happening. Ranger Captain, super staple. Simeon is in pretty much every deck with red. Spellseeker we talked about. Kitten we talked about. Roaming Throne we did talk about a little bit. So just to get this straight, the way this will work if it's a dragon is your commander will deal damage. If it's just your commander dealing damage, you will get 2 triggers.
Yes.
But if you have 2 dragons, you will get 4. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And it
You
itself
deal with
is
the Roaming
actually a
Throne.
dragon.
Right.
So if you attack with Roaming Throne as well, then it'll trigger from itself.
And you'll get 4 draws.
Right.
Very good. We talked about Sakashima. It's good for the same reason that Auton Soldier is. It's gonna,
Yes.
unlike Roaming Throne, it does have that. It'll come in with haste. It'll come in with haste, and then you will get your 4 triggers immediately. Whereas Roaming Throne will just get you 2 right off the bat.
Even
Talk to us
better,
about-
Sakashima copies any creature on the battlefield.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yes.
true. Actually, clones are just
It's very
so good.
important.
Clones are so
That's
good.
Sakashima and even Alton Soldier can copy anything, so it's
Yeah.
not as much of a blowout.
That's a nice looking dockside you have here. You have
So you
there.
can't take my commander. All right, I'll take your Tivit.
Oh,
We're gonna
here
go for
was
a more
a
expensive Baron loop here.
here was a cool line that came up one time. There was a dockside on somebody else's board, and I had my commander out. I played Sakashima, and one of the players was really in the tank about like, oh, what's he gonna copy? Like the 2 best things are dockside and his commander, and he had 1 piece of removal, so he ended up picking my commander.
Right.
I just copied dockside, and I had enough mana to do a combo after, and
Nice.
I ended up winning that game.
Nice. Yeah, that's hard because, like, I mean, there's no really great answer there. If they kill the dockside, you still get what? One,
At that
two,
point, I would get 4
3, 4,
triggers,
4
and then it
triggers.
would be 12 cards deep.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts.
Yeah, it was a
It
rough
was
spot for
correct
them,
to hit
but
your commander.
probably yeah. It also it puts less cards in my hand, and then whatever I have, I just have to work with.
Right.
I still had enough to I had a breach in hand, I think, and
Mhm.
something else, and I was just able to win at that point.
Yeah, sometimes there's just no correct answer, but sometimes that was the most correct answer.
Yeah,
But I see you've got the boy, Burkcry, Cutting Instigator.
Yeah, talk to us
Why
about
you
this
got
one.
this little
Let's,
punk in your deck?
let's announce what he actually does for those listening. It's a 5-mana 3/3 dragon in Izzet. So 3 generic, a blue and a red. It's got flying and haste, and whenever one or more dragons you control attack an opponent, goad target creature that player controls. And goad is like the creature has to attack, like the opponent's creature has to attack.
Someone
but
else.
it can't attack you. Yeah, it has to attack
Yes.
someone else. And then it has on its second line of text, whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, if that creature had to attack this combat, so basically if it was goaded, you put a +1/+1 counter on Furkrag, Cunning Instigator, and you draw a card. Yeah, I'm interested in this card. What's this doing here?
So when I was looking for dragons to put in my deck, 2 things, 2 keywords popped out: draw a card and haste.
yeah.
I haven't actually gotten to cast this yet. I'm hoping it does. I hope it draws at least a couple cards per turn cycle. You know, I mean, I don't know if it's the best option, but
Right.
I want to keep playing it until it proves that it's not worth playing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, dragons.
Also,
so if you have your commander out and you have this, you're goading 2 things. So
Yes.
you're incentivized anyway to goad the biggest thing they have.
Mhm.
So
You could also
Not
keep like
necessarily.
so 2 situations where you want to goad something is one, like let's say somebody has a big beater like an orc army
right.
that's has like 10 or whatever counters on it. If you want that going anywhere else, you can goad that. But also, if you want to get rid of somebody's stacks piece that might be hurting you, like maybe a Draenith is stopping you from breaching,
Mhm.
you can make that Draenith run into somebody's 3/3 or something.
Yeah.
And
Their Esperson or their Bowmaster.
Esper,
Those little
yeah.
1/1s. This Timna, this Malcolm. Like, people
Yeah.
hold back, and guess what? Nah, man. I think you look weak. You should probably attack.
Yeah, these little rinky dink 1/1s and 2/2s. And
The Lotho.
then they got Lotho. They got to talk to the other players like, oh, don't block, please. But wait, no, if you block, he's going to draw cards. Or if you don't block, he's going to draw cards. But if you block, then it gets rid of the thing. It creates a little bit of chaos, and then you can kind of capitalize on that. So I think it has text.
like
This
chaos
is an
tournaments.
absolute win.
Okay. So anyway, Goldspan Dragon. This is a 5-mana 4/4 in red, flying haste. Whenever it attacks or becomes target of a spell, you make a treasure. And treasures you control have tap, sacrifice, and you add 2 mana of any one color. So basically, this is a hasty attacker that doubles your treasures and makes treasures.
It's more straightforward than Furkrag. You just make mana, can double your dockside, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, but it's just a general value engine that's just good with your commander.
Haste value dragon. That's the name of the game.
We talked about Autons. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's a little worse than Cavern Horde Dragon in my opinion, because that can get you more treasures by itself.
That was our next card, actually. Yes. So yeah, talk to us about this. So Cavern Horde Dragon is a 7 generic red 6/6. It costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest number of artifacts an opponent controls. It's got flying, trample, haste, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you can create a treasure token for each artifact that player controls. So it's like a mini dockside effect. Yeah, talk to us about this.
I've heard people call this Dockside Dragon. I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
It is. It's kind of just that. It's like a dockside stapled onto a dragon, and again, it has flying and haste. It also has trample, if that's relevant.
Mm-hmm.
It could be sometimes if somebody has a flying blocker, like a Swang Song token or anything else.
Right.
But
should Niv Mizzet being weak and dying to this.
Yeah, nice 5/5. Here's my 6/6.
And then they cast an instant or sorcery, and then it goes down.
You drew a card and ping me. I'm pinging you through your dragon.
But again, just another value positive dragon. Triggers
Right.
off my commander, triggers off itself.
Right.
It does what we want.
Makes sense.
It's just some very value positive dragons you've got here.
Yeah.
Have you thought of
I
selling
see a
them?
trend.
No, they're not for sale.
Your
Alright.
sorceries, I noticed a card that I like to see. You got Fragmentize.
Yeah.
This card is anything Graph Digger's Cage, get it out of here. Ristic Mystic on Esper. I wish it was an instant, but there's only so
We
much
take
you
what
can
we
do.
get.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to run abolish, we take what we get, man.
It's surprising because like green has like Nature's Claim and all these other 1 mana things, and then this is all we get. There's Fragmentize, and then there's like another one that's like worse.
I
And
know which one you're talking about.
yeah,
What is it?
you know which one?
Yeah, like it's like 3 or less.
Yeah, that one.
Isn't
Like
there Lauren?
Wizards.
Isn't there Lauren? I mean, that's 3 mana though.
It's 3 mana. You don't want that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like
The closest we get to good
Wizards.
is Disenchant.
Wizards, get us a white Nature's Claim, please.
Yeah, why don't we have a white Nature's Claim? We should gain life.
Yeah.
Speaking
For
on-
destroying other people's things. Yeah.
Speaking of Lorraine, like that's basically white Rex Age.
Yeah,
It's a
white Rex
year-
Age.
It took so many years just to get that one. Like,
Just to get
Yeah.
a single white Rex Age, which makes no sense because
Exactly.
white is all about getting rid of enchantments and artifacts.
I would think there would be more, but I don't know.
So I noticed you're taking a risk and running Gamble.
Mhm.
Everybody knows Jessica's favorite tutor is To the Grave. Because they can't run natural and tomb, they have to run Gamble. I see you're on Get Probe. Is that just secure, or is there like a combo there? It's for Kitten, that's right.
It does work for Kitten, yes. It hasn't been the most impressive thing, admittedly, but it has like niche use cases.
I've been noticing Get Probe doesn't make the cut sometimes.
Yeah, I might end up cutting it actually. I'm not like huge on it or anything. It was just another card.
You're not as all in on Kitten as other decks because your commander doesn't really blink and get stuff.
No.
One cool thing it does, if I blink my commander, is it gets hexproof again if somebody
Yes.
tries to remove it, and that has come up.
Ooh, spicy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rite of Flame. Let me ask you, what's your biggest Rite of Flame so far?
I haven't gotten to live the dream yet.
You haven't gotten the 5?
No,
I've gotten the
I've
5.
only gotten 2.
I've gotten the
but-
5. That was the greatest thing ever. Literally in a row. Rite of Flame, get 2 mana, play this. Rite of Flame, get 3 mana. Haha. Wield, Rite of Flame for 4, play 1 ring. Listen, guys. Rite of Flame for 5. Let's go.
Sounds insane.
Play Commander Pass. What is a 2-drop? You could have done this anyways.
It's about sending a message.
Exactly. You think I'm not going to hit that achievement on my Xbox? We're on Savine's Reclamation for obvious reasons because we like to flashback our lands.
Yep.
Sir,
Yes.
need those
very
fetches. Love fetching here.
We're on Wheel of Fortune because, every so often our hand gets low. We got to refresh.
Absolutely.
How many turn 1 wheels have you done so far in your mind?
One.
Just one?
Just one, yeah.
You
it
got
doesn't-
aim for it.
Look, if I mull low, I'm looking for it. Trust me.
I noticed there's no Jessica's Will, though.
I don't think it's the right deck for it. Could be. I don't know. Yeah, I could test it.
No, it doesn't pull its weight a little bit more.
It's probably better than Get Probe. Yeah. You know what? I'll look into testing that. That's not a bad idea.
It's
For
harder.
other decks, it wouldn't be as good because their commanders are a little like if their commander was the same amount, but your commander kind of like leans into it like pretty good.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a 5-drop too, so it's kind of tough. I don't know.
I can go
I just
like
ramp.
I can just as well into like old span and then I don't know.
Just so you know, one thing I have done with Jessica's will is I have had my LED and my brain freeze get exiled before. So my breach line was wheel Jessica's.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
And then you start exiling the top 3 every time you do it.
Right.
With your commander out, so then it's like you not only get the 7 cards and exile 6, but now you've got 3 cards additional that you can play.
Right.
It gets pretty hot pretty fast.
I was also thinking that maybe you might want to consider some of the Niv Mizzets. So I know it's combat damage, but I feel like just having those generic like cards they're just gonna be good.
Haroon is a godsend.
Huh? What
but
is?
you're a yes guy, so that's how I look at it.
I mean, if I get a dockside first, it's easy to cast. But I think we could probably squeeze him in here.
What I was
Niv
wondering
Mizzet,
is,
Yeah.
I noticed you don't have like a pirate of heroes to like go.
Oh, you know what?
With your commander being a 5-drop, a Pyre of Heroes to turn your commander into Niv Mizzet if you need more advantage or if you can't get through.
Okay, so if I run Pyre, do I also want to run like the curiosity effects at that point too, or
maybe?
Tandem's pretty good. I like Ophidian Eye because it does come up a lot.
Flash?
Yeah, the
Makes
Ophidian
sense.
Eye and Tandem's always been pretty solid because of the soul bond. Also, it being a human has come up a bit because I can normally sack something. Like I've run pirates for a while, so like I'm very biased on this. But I like Pyre of Heroes turning your dragons into that. There is a 5-drop dragon that becomes a 2-drop if your opponents don't have basics out. For each non-basic your opponent has, and it pops a land. And it's
so weird.
Yeah, you know which one I'm talking about.
Obsidian Charmal, yeah.
Yeah, that has surprisingly been devastating every time I've played it. I haven't played it a lot, but every time it came up, it was like everyone's like, "What? Why? Why are you blowing up my land? Because it's free."
Okay, all right. Hear me out. I'm cooking. Obsidian Charmaw, Displacer Kitten.
Ooh.
Play a bunch of stuff. Empty the board.
Oh my gosh,
Man,
you run
anything
Displacer
with
Kitten. I have heroes with Displacer Kitten is broken.
Oh.
Oh yeah. You could.
Okay, I might have to do that now. I might have to run that now.
You can run Changelings then. Because it lets you search for the type. So you can sacrifice a Changeling, search out a correct card, and keep going.
I don't know. Pyre seems like a little bit hopium to me. I think the core of this deck is strong enough, like to where you don't really need to run it.
Make a sideboard for considering.
I can test it at the very least. Maybe I don't bring it to Cowtown, but I can test it at least.
Maybe if it does well, you bring it to Cowtown and we got a different interview.
Hey, you never know.
It overperforms. Right? It might overperform. I don't know.
Yo, obviously Seagate Restoration, because why not? Have you cast it yet?
I've cast it a couple of times.
I saw your treasure generation. I figured you had.
Wasn't like the best thing in the world. It drew me maybe 4 cards, but
it was 4 cards.
It's 4 cards. Yeah, it was better than nothing.
I think the best I've done is drawn 9 cards off of it.
Wow.
Good.
But as far as it's a land, like it's like
also just a land
upside.
Also pitches to force.
Land with upside.
It's good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Our Dragnauts doesn't take life, so.
All right, so let's move on a little bit to the instance. I'll just Gatling gun, machine gun through these really quick. Packed standard, offers good, flexible. You can offer your own stuff sometimes if you're trying to ramp right.
Done that.
Chain, staple, good with breach, good in general. Line Tutor standard. We talked about Ephemerate already. Flusterstorm standard. March is a bit interesting. I'm guessing this is to protect your board more than removal.
So I was using it, yeah, kind of as mass removal. I might actually swap this out for something like Earthquake. Oh,
No, you always keep the March in. Every time I've taken March out, I've immediately regretted it. Every time.
You could switch this out to like Resculpt if you wanted to. That'll permanently kill it, maybe, and it also gets rid of stuff like the One Ring.
It's all about the duality of being able to protect and defend, like protect and attack their stacks pieces, and then more importantly, attack their stacks pieces, but know that their stacks pieces are coming back before the next opponent's turn. Has come up a lot. Like, listen, I want my commander out. I'm gonna do this. Get rid of your Draenith for one turn, and say you guys need to find a permanent solution. I'm getting my commander.
Yeah.
okay.
March is good. March is good.
It's one of those cards that every time someone takes it out, it's like Lightning Bolt. You take out Lightning Bolt if you've been running it forever. The next game, immediately, I could have had Bolt.
Yeah, I get that. Okay. I could leave that for now.
All right. So next up, Mental Misstep staple, Mystical Tutor staple, Path very standard. You're on Double Blast, which I personally am a fan of. Just in general, I switched to Double Blast on Blue Farm a while ago. Like at first. I think to start I was on 0, and then I put in 1 and I really liked it, and then I put another 1 and I also really liked it, and I've just never gone back.
Take out the red sticks, kill the Tivit.
Yeah, it kills everything.
Kill everything. Kill everything. Get it.
That's a cute Crom you spent your Jeweled Lotus on.
Oracle? Nah. Get that out of here.
And then we got Silence, which makes sense. You're either stopping someone from winning or you're protecting your win cons. Swords, getting rid of stuff.
A lot of removal.
Yeah, there is actually a lot of kill spells or bounce and skills. Yeah, so we got Brain Freeze, Works the Breach, Cycryph stable, Final Fortune we talked about with your Spellseeker line. Mana Drain is interesting. I mean, your commander only has 2 generic mana that it needs. That one I'm not super sure about.
It was mostly for like other stuff, like my other dragons, or like if I want to turn that colorless mana into like rocks, like the talismans or something. But
that makes sense.
I could see it being not good enough.
No, I think it's fine.
There's also the consideration of like if I want to counter a creature, like a Grand Abolisher or something, because that comes up sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a big proponent of 2 cards. Daze if you need to get your commander out on turn 1, because it protects your commander on turn 1. Or Delay, because guaranteed everybody forgets to delay.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, delay into a Draenith always seems to happen. I go, delay. It's like it's gone. It cost me 1 blue mana, 1 colorless. Don't have to worry about it for 3 turns. The double blue is sort of broadcast, and I get wanting to have the hard counter, but having something not even in the grave for 3 turns has come up more.
And you can Draenith out, and then the Draenith is just gone. Like if you Draenith something that's delayed, they just can't cast it, right?
Yeah, they miss the trigger. It stays in exile, never comes back. I find that delay is so good against these decks that basically will recur these threats on a lot. It's like no. We got 3 whole turns. That's a lifetime.
Yeah,
like,
and you could also consider
game's
Arcane Denial.
I did actually. I actually thought about that.
Yeah,
I was wondering if it was good enough because some people are like, "Oh, that's a casual card. Don't play that."
No. It is not a casual card.
I want to draw
Arcane Denial is good. The only problem with it is like in mid-range games it's fine, but if you're using it into a turbo player, it can be kind of rough. Technique.
You wait for them to attempt to mind break something that you like, and you arcane your own card.
Oh yeah, you can do that. You can make it a draw 3 sometimes.
Draw 3 into grave. You mind break this whole thing. Either mind break's gone. I'll Final Fortune. I'll go off next turn and draw 3 cards at the beginning of it.
Yeah. You can do stuff like that. Yeah.
I like that actually. I might be playing Arcane Donna.
Like, it's a fun card. It's definitely like people used to hate on it so much, but I'm like, in this meta of Bowmasters and wrist sticks,
It's not
like,
bad.
like let's Arcane Denial and burn some people. Draw your 3 cards. What's your life total?
Yeah,
I might be sold.
try it out. I don't know that it's like, because it does have technically a downside, really, whereas Mana Drain's downside is just another colored pip. But I don't know. In this deck, you do have some big things that you're trying to power out. You have this Cavern Horde. You have these dragons. You have the Auton Soldier, and it's really good if you can get out Roaming Throne or Displacer Kitten also.
I haven't
So really
drained
Mana Drain
into
is
Roaming Throne before.
Yeah, the Roaming Throne
Yeah.
kind of makes me think it's a good in your deck. I'm not
Yeah.
a big proponent of Mana Drain these days, but Roaming Throne is pretty good. Also, it looks like your average, like you have 3 colorless on most of your creatures that you're playing out. You run rocks.
Yeah.
Some decks don't have cut down on their rocks as we've gone into this Dockside meta for the 9th year, basically.
Right.
It's like, we can't run rocks, we can't run dorks. What can we run in Wizards? We need a ban.
No spells because of Ristic and Mystic. We can't play anything.
Yeah, just concede, honestly.
Can't play things.
Can't play.
Can't play. No
Can't
playing
play.
allowed.
All right. So next up,
I can test different things.
Yeah, try it out. Next up, we have Muddle the Mixture, which makes sense. This is your tutor. You're in Jeskai. You don't have tutors. This is your tutor. It's for those that don't know, it's a double blue instant with counter target instant or sorcery, and then you have transmute for 1 blue, so you can discard. It's at sorcery speed. It's an activated ability where you just discard it. You pay 3 mana, and then you find a creature or anything that shares the same mana value as Muddle. So that's 2 mana, and in your deck, a lot of times I'm guessing that's going to be like Dockside or Grand Abolisher.
Dockside, Grand Abolisher, Breach, Brain
Yeah.
Freeze.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably it.
Yeah,
no,
that's all I
there's,
can
like,
really think of.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Those are all very important cards.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's mostly the Dockside tutor. It's the only
Yeah,
thing
I was thinking
you
that
have-
too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, then we've got your standard counter spells, and then we've got Intuition.
Yep, Intuition for
Yep.
Breach. Yep.
Ganesh, do you know how an Intuition pile works? I don't play Intuition piles.
It's pretty good. I mean, I guess we could
Don't
explain.
the other 2 cards just go to grave? It seems bad. Like, there's no way to recover that in white, right?
No. I doubt anyone really needs the explanation, but I'll go over it really fast for people listening. Like, if you have never played against like Blue Farm or like anything like that, and you've never seen this card, you might just need to play more games. But I'll cover it really
It'll
fast.
come up fast.
Yeah, you're gonna figure out real quick why this is good. So you search your library for 3 cards. An opponent picks one, and then you put that one in your hand, and the rest into your grave. The reason this is good is because they printed in a precon for some reason this card called Savine's Reclamation. It's a 3 mana sorcery.
Dockside precon.
Wasn't the Dockside precon?
It was in the Dockside precon, if I remember correctly.
That's
Wasn't
I
it?
think you're
Was it the
right.
Iconoclast?
I think you're right. Wait, no, was that Elsha that was Dockside?
I think Elsha was SWAT,
Fierce.
no?
No, I think Elsha was Fierce. Anyway, regardless, it was in a precon, and it has flashback for 4 and a white.
Elsha's in the
and you
same
can-
precon as the Iconoclast.
Okay. Yeah, so you just you can bring back stuff from your graveyard to your battlefield, basically. So what you want to do with this is you grab Savine's, you grab Lionside Diamond, and then you grab Underworld Breach, and that right there basically guarantees you Breach, assuming people don't have counter spells or I don't know, other things. All right.
I just
sorry.
realized that precon, the reason why I couldn't remember, because like it's the Chronoclasm, it's the flashback dude, but he
Yeah.
was so bad, everybody ran the alternate commander, Elsha. Even Josh
Yeah.
Lee on game nights was like, "This is a bad commander. I'm gonna run Elsha instead." He was the only one to swap out from the box, and it was just like, I'm
Yeah.
like, "Wow, two cEDH cards in that precon.
Yeah.
3 Elsha's in that precon too."
Yeah. I mean, but the problem is the rest of the cards are like worth nothing.
It was so bad. I played that precon. It was fun, but the deck's bad.
Wait,
Oh,
4
weird.
because they had Soul Ring in it, right?
Yeah, technically we played 4. Yeah, there you go. Oh, you know what? 5. I think it had an exotic orchard. Yeah.
Wow.
Huge value. It actually was, honestly, when it came out.
It's
actually
such
pretty
a good precon
Yeah.
for being such a bad deck.
It's hilarious.
I think you can still find them occasionally at Target. On your artifacts, I'm sorry, just mind blown. We have Chrome Mox, Lotus, Lion's Eye, Lotus Petal, Mana Crypt, Mox Amber, Mox Diamond, Mox Opal, Mana Vault, Soul Ring. Those are staples, guys. Maybe Mox Opal and Mox Amber are not, but most of those are staples. You got the Arcane Signet, the Felwar Stone, but you don't have talismans.
Yeah.
Explain.
I want to ramp to my dragons.
Yeah.
I want to get up to 5 and 6 and 7 mana.
That makes perfect sense.
I want to have as much mana as possible.
No Grim?
I don't like it.
I don't like Grim
Not in
either.
this deck. I don't love it in this deck. I could see why it would be appealing, but I don't know.
Well, that's a good choice because it's a trap if you're not running an artifact synergy.
There you go. That's what I was thinking.
Like 7 or more. Looking at you, Traxa, you can barely justify Grim Monolith.
Barely.
Have you considered maybe running like board wipes that don't kill your commander? Like that's pretty popular in like wasn't it the who do we have, Paco and Haldon last week? Mm-hmm. They were on Anger of the Gods. I mean, you are running a decent suite of smaller creatures, but
I was thinking about Earthquake. It hits non-flying. I don't think there's too many flyers that are relevant, so it would hit mostly everybody else's stuff.
There's Crom, there's Tivit, there's Atraxa.
Crom's whatever.
Yeah.
Tivit's a bigger issue, but Crom's
not that bad.
I don't care about
small and not a threat to you. Tivit is already a problem, and you've justified that. What you need to run is something that kills it uncounterably, so you could ignore the ward cost. Honestly, that's what you need to run. You need to run one of those red burn spells that deals 6 damage to something and can't be countered.
No, don't mainboard that. I mean, you could. Fry, I think it's called Fry.
Fry is 5 damage.
Blue or white creature.
Fry is only 5 damage though.
Oh, yeah. What's? I think I know what card you're talking about. But I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's what you need to run if you weren't about Tivit. But what I do is just ignore them and just wait for the clock.
Yeah, for the most part, like if somebody is about to combo with Tivit or something, I think it's best to just be responsible, pay the extra mana, and just remove it. Otherwise, you're just shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Yeah.
Now, another reason for you to run Arcane Denial, I looked at your enchantment suite, and you've got a Smothering Tithe.
Yeah, that's synergy.
Yeah, that does the thing.
Dragon can help me pay for these dragons. Arcane Denial can help you pay for these dragons and draw you a card.
Thank you for your donation, fellow player.
Thank you for the Dragon Tithe.
The Dragon Tithe.
Now,
here's one thing I was kind of concerned about. You think Smothering Tithe is necessary if I already have stuff like Goldspan and Cavern Horde?
Yeah. You're Jessica.
Yeah.
Why would you run one of the best ramp spells, one of the most punishing ramp spells for your opponents? It always lets you you're already drawing cards with your commander.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say he actually got a hard combo. With Goldspan Dragon, Fairy Mastermind, and Smothering Tithe.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, that is a thing.
That's cool.
Because you'll be making 6 mana generating 3,
Yeah,
making
that
6
goes
mana paying
infinite.
4 with a grain abolisher.
Ish.
You can kill people.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, we found a new.
New combo
maybe I'll
just
do
New
dropped.
combo.
New combo just dropped. That's okay. Yeah, I like that.
So for those who don't understand,
What is a win con?
for those that don't get what's going on, Fairy Mastermind has a 4-mana activated ability that every player draws a card, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Smothering Tithe, if they don't pay 2, you make a treasure, and a lot of times people won't be able to pay 2, so you make the treasures, and then if you have Gold Brand Dragon out, he's going to double the mana your treasures give you, so then you do it once, you get 3 treasures that you can crack to make 6, and then you just have to pay 4 to activate Mastermind, which will leave you an extra 2 mana, and you can keep doing this, and then if you have let's say a Born Upon the Wind, you can actually do something at instant speed if it's on someone else's turn or something. But anyway, let's talk about these
We're gonna watch
lands.
this guy's win rate just go through the roof.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I would run Mastermind maybe over Ogma just because you don't really care about your life as much as other decks do.
Sure.
And I don't know. Anyway, it being a flyer also is kind of good. Like, anyway, so yeah, pretty standard looking lands package. I'm surprised you're not on Cavern.
I thought about it, and I kind of came to the conclusion that if somebody's spending a counterspell on a dragon, so be it. Yeah, like that. If that's the best thing you can do at your interaction, then you got it, man. I'm not fighting over it.
That makes sense. You are on Forbidden Orchard, though.
Yeah, I wanted my colors. I wanted my colors.
Yeah.
I don't love this land, but I think in the 3-color deck or higher color decks, it's just kind of important.
Also, your advantage engine is flying, so you want people to get shut out on their Timnas. You want people to get blown out on their random attacks. You're like,
that makes sense.
There you go. Token made.
Yeah, the
You're
ones
not me anyways.
are inconsequential to me, so it's like it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Your pathetic spirits matter not to my dragons. Man, that's some racial bias there from the dragons. Not caring about the spirits? Wow.
Okay, so
But
I think that's...
in all honesty, man, go for it.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, the deck looks basically like Blue Farm. It's like, it looks and plays like Blue Farm without the Black Tutors, but like, I know we joked it's Dragon Farm, but like, it really does seem like you just wait and steadily approach an inevitable endgame.
That's what I like to go for, yeah. So, that's kind of hence the name Blue Farm, or Dragon Farm. It kind of came from Blue Farm as a joke, but it kind of just makes sense because you just want to play kind of this attrition game long and then go over the top with like a big finish. Like sometimes it's going to be Auton Soldier, sometimes it's just going to be attacking with several dragons at a time.
Right.
Sometimes you just like draw into one of these other combos, stuff like that.
Okay. What does Lathless do? Is it Lathless is just when a dragon ETBs you get a 5/5?
Yeah.
I don't know if you really need to be running
dragons.
It's cute because I can bounce my dragons, but I don't think it's what you want to be doing in cEDH.
Too cute.
No. I mean, it depends on the deck. Like if you're playing an actual like dragon deck, it can be really good into stacks, but yeah, generally no. Okay. So that's gonna do it, I think, for our card by card. Is there anything else you would like to say about the deck? Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to that maybe helped you make the deck, or your LGS, anything like that?
About the deck, I think that's pretty much it. Attacking with dragons is cool.
It is. It really is.
Yeah, I got some shout outs. Shout out to the New Jersey cEDH guys. They've been supporting me. They've been pushing me to try to, spread my wings more. No pun intended. No pun fully intended. Let's be real. They wanted me to get this out there since I've been performing with it, and I'm happy to, be able to play and be able to do well and show my stuff. And then shout out to like Red Seal Gaming. It's one of my local shops. We go there a lot, and they had a couple of months ago. They had their first cEDH tournament. It was a huge. What's up?
Oh, you said nice. Congrats on that.
Okay. Yeah, so we're looking to do the next one, like maybe next month or in the next couple of months. So stay tuned for that.
Very cool.
But that's pretty much it. Yeah.
All right, we got one more thing. Oh yeah, go ahead, Samurai. Sorry.
I was gonna say, mate. New Jersey has a lot of cEDH players, especially in the tournament scene. You might be able to find a lot of your favorite tournament players playing there. Like a certain person that starts with a K plays in New Jersey, came down for Punt City, including two other people who happen to play in a certain tournament organization live out there. So you should I should definitely send you their contact information. I know they'd love to get some games in with you before Cowtown, at least.
Yeah, no, Tri-State, the whole Tri-State area is kind of loaded, actually. Actually, yeah, Kai, I know you're talking about. He's actually, we have a few different Discords. They're all like Tri-State Discords, but we're all.
It goes so hard.
Yeah, he's in the Discord. He plays with DJ a lot. DJ Links, Kinnan player. Yeah, a lot of us actually do play together sometimes.
Nice.
Yeah, we're coming. Tri-State's up.
You guys gonna win that next region battle?
Hey, look out, we might.
Kai was on here last week, actually. He was our last guest.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right. Cool. So we have one very last thing for you. Very, very scientific and accurate. A lot of pressure on this one. It's going to be our spicy scale. So it should be in that document I sent you. We're gonna measure it with this very scientific and accurate scale from bell pepper at 0 Scoville units, all the way to a Carolina Reaper at 2 million Scoville units. So we'd like to ask you, where would you put your deck on a scale from 0 to 2 million? And there's all sorts of peppers in there. There's the jalapeno at about 5K. There's the Jamaican Bell at 10K, which is kind of in the middle. How spicy would you say your deck is?
All right. So I think the deck itself is kind of on the mild side.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you get these cool dragons, and you don't see a lot of that in cEDH. But I think the interaction between Zurgo and Ojutai and Sakashima is pretty up there in the spicy scale. So I would put it in the middle. Jamaican Bell.
Okay.
What's right below Jamaican Bell?
Looks like Hungarian yellow hot wax. The mouthful.
I'm gonna say that one.
All right.
I picked that one.
All right.
Going with that one. A Hungarian hot wax.
Hungarian
pepper?
yellow
Yeah,
hot
that's what I
wax.
put it.
Yeah.
Because it's basically a Jeskai shell with like 5 extra cards that just are a little bit unique to it. So it's like,
package.
yeah, I get it. But those 5 cards are pretty spicy. But the rest of the deck's kind of mild.
Yeah, I was gonna agree. I was gonna say I was looking at jalapeno, but I don't know. It's honestly it's an orc riding a dragon, and in terms of just conceptual things, you don't really get spicier than that.
You don't even.
We had 2 like homunculus cyclopses a while ago, but just on that point, I'll give it the Hungarian yellow hot wax, which is 3.5 to 10,000 Scoville heat units.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Spicy. A little spicy, but it's got some spice.
in addition to your very esteemed Hungarian yellow hot wax rating, this is normally where I say you're one of very few people to ever get this rating, but I think so far you're the only person to get this exact rating so far. So there you go.
Let's go.
In addition, you will have the very esteemed off-meta guest Discord role in our Deck Check Discord from now until end of time.
Did it. This is what all of my efforts have worked towards.
Yeah. All right. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Samurai, you got anything for us before we wrap this up, perhaps?
Well, as always, I would like to promote the next Chaos tournament, which should be this Saturday. Treasure Series, always a fun tournament to go to. The classic, the original. I won't be casting it. I'm taking a little break from these because I've got some stuff in the works. In all honesty, guys, I love the tournament scene. I love these new decks. Keep sending them in, folks. We don't know if the meta's not solved. Like, it's not solved.
That's true.
All right. Yeah, it's really not. Like, we're seeing, like, who would have... I could not have predicted half the decks we've seen. Like, I think, yeah, this is definitely very interesting, and like, it just goes to show there's so much unexplored cEDH space. Like, granted, like, not every like new deck is going to be like tier 0, like a Kinnan or a Blue Farm, but it doesn't mean you can't do well and you can't have fun. So
yeah, I like how if you know what you're doing, you can kind of almost bring anything to the cEDH space. Like. Yeah. When I performed at Punt City, I didn't know it was going to do as well as it did. And because I studied the meta and made like good deck building decisions.
What was your rating at Punt City, if you don't mind me asking, for the podcast?
So I finished with a 3-3-1 record.
Nice.
I tied with like 8 different people, but only it was a 16 point, and only one of us actually made it by like a very slim margin. But the fact that I was like right there, I think is like it shows that this deck has some potential.
No, that's actually crazy.
You had a top 16 score.
What's up, Samurai?
You had a top 16 score. Remember, it wasn't a clean cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was literally someone with the same score as you in top 16.
Yeah, exactly, if it came down to tiebreakers and you had the same as like other people in top 16, like, yeah, I mean, nothing you can do about like that tiny percentage. Right. No, that's really cool. And Punt City was like had a lot of players, right? It was like
almost 200. It was 186, I believe.
186. Yeah, that's actually really good, and it definitely goes to show this deck has some potential. I hope to see you at an event sometime. We'll play.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Can I convince you guys to play this deck or what?
You could convince me. The biggest thing for me would be actually hunting all these cards down.
I will be playing some Spice this next month. It's definitely one that I had my eye on. Not Paco Holden. That's a little too spicy. I love Kai, but I can't handle that spice. But I think Zurgo and Ojutai definitely. I've been actually eyeing it for a while. I had seen your results for a bit. That's why we were like, "Come on, we got to hunt this guy down. We need to get him on the show." And met you at Punt City. I was like, "That's why." I don't know if you noticed when you said, "Oh, I'm running Zurgo and Ojutai."
I was like, "Yeah, it's me. I'm here." But yeah, that's awesome, man. I hope you guys. I hope to see this just make a place in the meta. Honestly, I hope if I put up some more results, people are gonna be like, "Wow, dragons are pretty good. Let me try this." And then
I can tell you right now, this is like a tier 2 deck, right? Like something like that. Tier 2, tier 3. Yeah, like it's in that ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
Needs some adjustments and it's what's the term? Linearized, like delineated.
This deck needs to be streamlined a little bit. I think Thoracle needs to go. I think some of the flex slots need to be tightened up. Like you don't want Get Probe.
Yeah,
I don't like Fragmentize, honestly.
I love the art.
I could see maybe this deck needing a tiny bit more value overall. That's just
So
my
like
opinion.
what I
So close.
what I did when I got home from Punt City, I immediately just threw my deck on the table and just started going through cards that I liked and didn't like.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's
yeah, no,
good.
I stay in the lab. I'm always cooking. I'm probably gonna. This isn't the final form of this deck.
Yeah,
Absolutely
for
not.
sure. I'm
I got
excited to
some
see it.
more. I got some more stuff.
Yeah.
Good.
Cool. Well, I think that's going to wrap us up for today. That was a lot of fun. Thank you very much again for coming on the show. And
Thank you for
we
having
will,
me.
yeah. All right. We
Pleasure.
will see you all later. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, maybe send this to a friend. And a huge thank you to our patrons, JR and Matt Tang.